This video is intended for all people, specifically for people of color. My intent is to spark thought, to inspire a person's own journey, connecting to a higher state of mind. In America, the black culture is still lost without true overall identity. Contrary to the surface level philosophies of many men, this show will undoubtedly continue to embark upon various topics. However, this is now why some people can't see.
Is on page 271, and I wanted to know the difference between illusion and unknown. They say
between the word illusion and the Hebrew word Eliun.
Yes, according to the Black Book, it shows that they're related.
It's saying they're related phonetically. Just like you can say the little boy from Cuba, his name was Eliun. You know right away they're phonetically related. You follow what I'm saying? And what most people don't realize is all languages on the planet Earth are related. I'm going to come back to a point, but I want to establish something. And a certain person or a certain being is responsible for all the different languages on the planet. According to Bible-believing people, somebody diversified the tongues, caused the Babel, and now people speak different languages. Whoever that person is also the person responsible for racism, separation, and hate. You say, well, how's that? Because Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, that same person says, I'm going to put enmity between the woman's seed and the serpent's seed. So this being talking is saying, I'm going to put enmity, I'm going to put hate, I'm going to put rivalry between two beings that I created. Because God created both that woman and the devil. And people say, well, how did God create the devil? Well, because people say that in the Bible or the Quranic life, that the devil is darkness and God is light. That's why Jesus is early on the star, and God is called a bright light, and light is knowledge, etc., etc., etc. But when and if God did create light, and he said, what, let there be? When he did that, he had to create shadows. Because if you create light, you automatically create a shadow. Now, the light the shadow is created by an object in light. So therefore, when the sun was created, if the sun is a mass, and that mass has a shadow, then he said, let there be light, and he deciphered that the sun was light, and that evening and the morning, there was a shadow out. But neither one of them are pure darkness, because the sun itself had to be created outside of darkness. If there was no light, there'd be no shadow. So you had darkness before you had the shadow. So therefore, their reference to dark as evil is in actuality talking about the shadow, not the state of darkness that God had to be in when God said, let there be light. All intelligence, all thinking has its birth or origin in darkness, meaning there is no light inside your head at this moment. So when you see anything, you look outward apparently and reflect the image inward. So in order to see, you don't see this way, you see this way. And therefore you're sending light inward to darkness. And when it gets inside the head, it follows through the eyes, through the optic nerve, then it triggers with the brain. Therefore the intelligent point, or the point of decision or deciding what I'm looking at, how tall it is, how bright it is, how fat it is, how thin it is, how red or green or blue, is done in darkness. And it takes the intelligence to make that decision. You follow what I'm saying? It doesn't take the ability to cut on the light to use the intelligence. The intelligence factor is done in the darkness. Thus God, in actuality, being the source of all intelligence, dwells in darkness. And God said, let there be light. And when light came, there had to be a shadow. And that shadow is what they're calling the darkness of evil. And that's why if you look in the Quran, the same word they use for darkness, zulm, is the same word they use for shadow, zulm. And the Arabic of the Quran is from the ancient Semitic, which goes back to the ancient Semitic languages where Hebrew is the same word. So their definition of shadow and darkness was the same. Somewhere along the line, the preacher and the teacher got confused. And they just made all darkness bad. And then said darkness is associated with black, so black thus is bad. But black, not being a color but a state, existed before darkness. You see? Because darkness is telling you it has a state, it has a degree of itself. Darkness. There is darkness, then there's less than darkness. And a shadow is determined by how far the sun is from the object that it's reflecting upon. You with me so far? So when you reach down inside the human being, right, in the mind, you find light or darkness. And in that darkness you find reason, decision, and thought. So when God said, let there be light, and thus God created a shadow, the counterpart to light, the shadow was the darkness, the irreality yet existed, the unpurposed yet existed, the untangible yet existed, the illusion of the Most High. So Iliyun translated as the Most High, and illusion to the Most High would be its equal untangible. The shadow is equal to you in all shape, size, and intensity, but not in density. You follow? That's why in the Black Book it says Iliyun and illusion is really from the same thing. Because illusion is alluding to the shadow of the material thing. And we've been taught to ignore how important a shadow is. But all of us will step in the shade when it's cold, when it's too hot. And while we seek the shade, the shadow seems to become very important to us. But on a cloudy day, right before a picnic, when we're wishing for the sun, all of a sudden we no longer like the shade. We don't want the clouds to hinder our picnic. Now, go away, clouds. So we've been taught to cast away the dark, because it hinders what I can do in the light. Never realizing that anything I do in the light is coming from the intellect. And that's why we refer to that as the intellect, and not the outtellect, because those decisions are made in the head, not outside the head. The vision and what I see is determined from my insight, not my outsight. You follow? Okay?